You're listening to a Soul One podcast.
Hello, you had me at Skip It fans. It's Mike calling from my, I guess Taylor called it my artist retreat or my artistic retreat. Sabbatical, I'm not sure what she called it. Yes, I've been working on a really interesting arts project, theater show. So that's one of the reasons why I've been missing. I've also been very sick, if you can't tell. I might have had COVID. I don't know. It really knocked me out for over a week. I'm still not better, but I have my energy back. So thought I would give a quick update to all our fans that you had me at Skip It. But also, the Oscars pool has been released. That's right. The 2026 Oscars pool is up and running right now. You can go to solonearts.ca/podcasts and get the poll right there. You can fill out your ballot and you can submit it right now. So that's solonearts.ca/podcasts. Or if you just go to solonearts.ca, go under projects, you'll find the podcast tab. And there you go. The form fillable as usual is right there. All we need is your name and email, and then you fill out your ballot for a chance to win your own episode of You Had Me at Skip It. That's right. You can produce your own episode. You can come on the episode. You can tell us what to talk about. You can even pick the hosts you want. You get full control over one episode that we pick with you somewhere in the future. So definitely enter our Oscars pool. We've had a lot of great entries over the past couple of years. So just wanted to announce that. Say hi to everybody. I hope you're enjoying all the great work that Taylor is doing with her special guests each week. Enjoy this episode of You Had Me at Skip It.
Hello, everyone. I pressed record, so hopefully you're ready, Nicole.
I'm all ready. I'm all set.
Okay, great. Welcome back to You Had Me at Skip It. And already I need to cough. We're off to an amazing start today, Nicole.
It's typical. It's okay.
It's par for the course. I'm Taylor, and Nicole is filling in for Mike because he is still on his sabbatical for the arts community, as I've been calling it. And Nicole, you've graciously subbed in for today, and we're just gonna talk movies like we talk every week. We got 2 reviews. I have no idea what you're seeing. Actually, that's a lie. Are you going to review what you told me you were going to review earlier this week?
What did I tell you I was going to review? I don't remember. Was it a documentary or was it a movie?
A documentary.
No, honestly, it was raining in LA, so I didn't go see it.
No judgment. That is the one day of the month it was raining.
No, it was raining it rained so bad, we kept getting emergency alerts being like, get out of the way, mudslides. I mean, they do it for everybody, but It was raining for I think a full week or 2 weeks or something like that.
Okay, so they weren't being dramatic, or you weren't being dramatic. There was a lot of rain.
Oh, yeah, and the irrigation system here doesn't exist. When you look at the streets, it looks like it's literally waves of water because the irrigation is just weak.
They don't have sewer grates?
They don't have as many.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I love talking LA because I learn new things every time I speak with you. So what are you reviewing this week?
So I'm reviewing If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You.
Yes, and I'm really glad that you're reviewing it so I don't have to.
I figured I was doing a public service,
or
a best friend service.
A Taylor service.
Yeah.
I'm reviewing Begonia. Do they even say the name in the movie?
I don't think they do.
Right. What is that? The name of the company?
Oh, that's such a good question.
What is Begonia?
I thought it was a flower. I thought begonia is a flower.
Huh. Okay.
I don't know what the company name is, actually.
What is Begonia? Let's ask Google. What is Begonia? Not what it's about, just what is it? Begonia, from the Greek word meaning ox-born, is an ancient Mediterranean, largely Roman era folk belief and ritual wherein bees were thought to be spontaneously generated from the rotting carcasses of a sacrificed ox or cow. Okay.
Honestly, kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Based on everything, based on the plot.
Yes. So, okay, fair enough. But yeah, so that just confirms that no, Begonia, they don't say it in the movie. So anyways, that's what I'm reviewing. We're kind of still in our Oscar catch-up, at least here in Canada, and you're graciously also reviewing Oscar-nominated movies. I don't know if that's, again, a Taylor service or you're interested in catching up. Both. Okay,
both.
Great. Yeah. I love when we can kill two birds with one stone. So, as longtime listeners will know, every year we do an Oscar pool. Typically, the Oscar pool form goes out way sooner. But with Mike being on his sabbatical and being away from the show, he does all the tech stuff for the show. He runs the website. He hasn't been able to make the Oscar ballot card yet. I have texted with him. He has told me he's going to do it, Nicole. So, God willing, we will have a Oscar ballot for you very shortly because the Oscars are coming up. They're going to be in about 2 weeks, I believe. Yeah. So, hopefully we'll have that. Keep checking our website, the Soul One Arts, whatever website. And it will be up eventually. I think Mike said he can even add ads to the radio show. So once it's up, he will communicate to us how to fill out that ballot. But so anyways, we've been catching up. Myself in particular, because Nicole, you watch movies way more than I do, and you are pretty current with your movies, but we've been catching up a little bit for the Oscar nominated. So this episode's pretty typical. We're just gonna kind of go back and forth and review our movies. Why don't you start, because you've also seen Begonia, so I want to chat with you about the movie. We texted a little bit about it, but I want to get into it. But I haven't seen If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. Ugh, these movie title names are not what they used to be. Anyway.
I don't think they say If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You in any part of the movie either.
Okay, interesting. And she has legs in the movie.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah,
we see them.
Yeah. Okay. Is she in a wheelchair?
No.
So the legs do not factor in the movie. No. Okay. So again, just a title. Just a weird title. Is this based on a book?
No, it is not based on a book. It is based on the director's brain, I guess. She wrote it. She directed it. She's in it, the director of this movie.
Oh, what's her name?
Her name in real life? Her name in real life is Mary Bronstein, and this is her, I think, one of her first. Definitely not her very first. She's made some short films before, but I think it's her first that she would be well known for. Okay. She had a feature in 2008 called, I hate this word, Yeast. And which she, I believe she wrote and directed as well. Just directed, or maybe, you know what? I don't know. I'll leave it to everybody who listens is very smart. So I'll leave it to you to Google. But she has had one movie before, but this one is
this is her big one.
Yeah.
Her breakout. And it's Rose Bryan. Byrne, sorry.
Oh my gosh, I love this. Yeah, it's Rose Byrne, and I'm just gonna, I'm kind of copying one of my favorite podcasts when they say, and the IMDb logline is, I'm gonna read the IMDb logline just so everybody can have, like an aerial view of what is gonna be happening in this movie. So so here goes the logline. Quote, while trying to manage her own life and career, a woman on the verge of a breakdown must cope with her daughter's illness, an absent husband, a missing person, and an unusual relationship with her therapist.
I thought the missing person was her daughter. No? Oh, okay.
No, that is not the missing person.
Got it. It's separate.
Yes, I'm not going to spoil anything, obviously. But this movie, okay, so it's a comedy drama, black comedy drama.
Got it, yeah.
And just so, like, you know what we're getting. Okay, also it stars Rose Byrne, Conan O'Brien, Daniel McDonald, Delaney Quinn, Christian Slater.
Love him. Love him.
Jump scare. And then ASAP Rocky.
Why is it a jump scare? Are we not allowed to like Christian Slater anymore?
No, it's just that he, you don't know it's him.
Oh.
Until you see him.
Like he hasn't, they haven't been like, kind of like in 7, you find out who the killer is at the very end of the movie. And you're like, oh.
Like you put a face to a voice, basically. Unless, like, people are really good at recognizing voices, like specifically Christian Slater's voice.
Sure.
But his voice is very present in the movie, but his face doesn't come until the end.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So
wait, so just pause real quick.
Yeah.
What has this been nominated for?
That's such a good question.
Best Actress, I think, right?
Yes, so she was, Rose Byrne was nominated for Best Actress. The Actor Awards, quote unquote, which is for everybody, it's the SAG Award rebrand, basically. So SAG is Screen Actors Guild, and those awards, like the winners of those awards, along with the BAFTAs, kind of are an interesting indicator of what could be to come at the Oscars.
Right.
So it was nominated for, is nominated for SAG, and then BAFTA, she was nominated Best Actress in a Lead Role, and she did win the Golden Globe for Best Actress in a Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy.
Interesting.
Yes, so it won a bunch of like film festival awards. I'm not going to list them all off. And it won a couple Gotham, or it was nominated for quite a few Gotham awards. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, so yeah, so quite a bit of awards buzz. And for the Oscars, the only nomination this got was for Best Actress, which is very interesting. It is, so to give everybody a general, so this, like, just so everybody knows, the feeling that you get while watching this movie is peak Safdie Brothers stress.
Oh.
So if anybody has, however, I will say, I watched the first half with Missy, who is my wife, and she was, like, stone cold, like, shocked, and I was laughing. Okay. And then she was like, you can finish the movie by yourself. So that's just kind of...
I was going to say, like, I don't know Missy's taste, like, super great, but when you were describing and then you said Missy watched it with me, I'm like, oh, Missy's going to hate this.
She was like, I don't like it. It's stressful. I can't do this. I'm speaking for her. Like, she's in the other room and probably listening to me and being like, that's not what it was like. Anyway.
Exactly how Dan is when I...
Yeah. That's not how that went.
I don't sound that way.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a very stressful watch, and I know that you had mentioned that you were a little hesitant to watch it given the way it's been described as kind of like a mother who's depressed,
Yeah, like a mother spiraling.
It's a mother spiraling for sure, but not in a way that a mother spirals in like Die My Love.
Right.
It's a bit of a different... This isn't like a postpartum
panic
thing.
Right.
Yeah, this isn't anything like that, in my opinion. I don't have children, but I could...
Like, she just happens to be a mom and the spiral is separate.
Yeah, and her kid is like 7.
Okay.
Right? So her kid is older. She has something going on with her where she has to consume food from a feeding tube. So she's just like very overwhelmed by the responsibility of that. And then things kind of just fall apart.
Is Christian Slater her therapist, and that's why the voice? I guess you don't want to spoil anything. That would be fun, though. You hear the voice of the therapist, and then the reveal is that it's Christian Slater, who also is... This is me literally speculating on plot, knowing just that byline. Being like, ooh, he kidnapped the missing person, and he's the crazy therapist. But, I don't know. Am I even remotely close?
No.
Okay.
Not at all. But listen, I understand why you would think that.
That sounds like a fun movie.
It is a fun movie. I'm going to be so... But again, I was like, I have very...
I know, our sense of humor, it's like what you're describing reminds me, and I'm sorry that I interrupted you, but it reminds me, when you were describing how Missy was like stressed and you were laughing, it reminds me of when I saw The Lobster, and in the final scene, when she's like in the bathroom, or it's him who's in the bathroom, and he has like the knife, and... I laughed. Like, I just, like, burst out laughing. And I was the only person in the theater who laughed at that scene. And then as we were leaving, exiting the theater, I heard someone say, like, can you believe that person laughed during that scene?
Oh, my gosh. We were in the theater, actually, to see something recently. And I was the only one who laughed at one specific scene. And Missy was like... Yeah, it was painfully,
embarrassing.
Obvious. She was like, yeah, you were the only one who was laughing. That's very interesting. Oh my gosh, what was it? I don't remember. But
we just have, like,
funny.
A very particular sense of humor.
Yeah, and I mean, okay, another thing about this movie that is so... I mean, it's very... very Oscar baity.
Right.
And very much like a Cassavetes vibe. If anybody's seen, Woman on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown, kind of that, you're kind of wondering what the next thing is going to be that is going to continue to make her spiral. Obviously, this feels... Well, not obviously. To me, this feels way less tragic than a Cassavetes movie. And it just feels very real. And the camera is on Rose Byrne's raw face for like a lot of the movie, so you're very intimately it just feels like you're intruding a little bit as a viewer.
A lot of face acting,
Yes. But yeah, I had again, grain of salt, I had a great time. I really liked the ending. Yeah, and some of it, I mean, might be a little disturbing. So go in with that in mind. But yeah, I would highly recommend this movie to everybody, with the caveat that you have to be comfortable in a stressful situation. Because at the end of the day, it's a movie, right? It's not really a horror movie. It's not real. There's nothing to be stressed about. But they do kind of drum that up in you, which, hats off. Did a good job.
That shows good filmmaking. Like, it sounds like the direction and the editing, the cinematography is probably pretty strong. If like Missy had such a is the word visceral? Like in visceral? The body. Yeah, like she had such like a body reaction to it. So clearly It was effective. It just wasn't, what she wanted. I would say that Black comedies, because interestingly, Begonia, what I'm reviewing, is also a Black comedy thriller. I like Black comedies a lot. I feel like it's not everyone's genre. Like, I feel like I don't think it's a particularly accessible genre.
I completely agree. You kind of have to have a specific kind of temperament. And yeah, I think I was just reminded of, I remember I was at TIFF like 10 years ago when that movie Elle came out with Isabelle Huppert. And
yes.
I think that I've even brought this movie up on this podcast before, but I remember very distinctly sitting in the theater being like one of maybe 3 people laughing. And just so we're clear, like, the premise is about a woman who is sexually assaulted and then deals with it. Mm-hmm. So it's not funny, but it was just like, it's just interesting what lands for people and what doesn't land for people. Because, yep, just goes.
The absurdity of things. Like, I really like absurd humor. And I feel like an effective Black comedy, like, leans into the absurd. And you also can't be, like, you have to have a pretty thick skin to like Black comedies. Because typically, like, they're violent. Mm-hmm. Like, in my experience, Black comedies are typically violent. And yeah, you just have to kind of have a thick stomach. Like, you can't be easily offended with a Black comedy.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. So overall, so you said, okay, I have one thing before I want your final review. It sounds like you enjoyed it. You think Rose was good. You think she's worth the
nomination.
The nomination. I like her. I think she's actually a good comedic actress.
That's why I think that we were talking about this before too. Comedic actors often do drama so well, mm-hmm. because funny people are, they got a lot going on.
So we're not normal.
So it really sells, like, it's kind of all been leading up to this, and she's very, very, very good. I don't think she's going to win.
Right.
But I think the nomination is so well earned.
Do you think, so my second question was going to be, you mentioned how it was like a little bit like Oscar baity. So I have a 2-part question. Number 1, do you feel like Oscar baity sometimes translates to pretension? Like, did you think this movie was a little pretentious? And number 2, if not, like, you mean that in like the positive sense, do you think this movie was snubbed?
Oh, that's such a good question. I don't find this pretentious. I did not find this particular movie to be pretentious. Do I think it was snubbed? I mean, I think it was snubbed in some...
Like Best Original Screenplay, for instance.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I think that was snubbed. I think Weapons was snubbed. Like, I think that but I think at the end of the day, as I continue to get older and my tastes change, and I know we've talked about this before, but the merit of an Oscar or like a bunch of awards, I know it means something in terms of financing, but in terms of building an audience, I don't think it's the be-all, end-all. Like, just because your movie is nominated for an Oscar, Green Book, does not mean it's going to stand the test of time and, like, be influential in culture. And so I think that this movie will stick around longer than maybe some other movies that are in these categories, like Frankenstein. Like, I think this one will be more of like it'll stick around harder than Frankenstein did. Going to.
You know what's so interesting that you mentioned Frankenstein, because it was either last week or this week. Criterion, that's how you say it. I never hear it out loud, right? Criterion. Yeah. Who, like, I don't know how you describe them. Like, they're a distribution house, I guess you could say. Like, they repackage like the Criterion edition of movies. So like they're kind of like, speaking of pretension, but like I would say they collect in a sense like movies that are considered like that have merit, right? Like that are like you know, very well crafted, like whatever. So like kind of like if it's a Criterion movie, you can kind of expect that it's like a quote unquote good movie, whatever that means, right?
Yeah.
Criterion announced that they're going to do K-pop Demon Hunters and Frankenstein.
Huh. Well,
which wouldn't, like, I've seen both. I really enjoyed K-pop Demon Hunters. I was less hot on Frankenstein, largely because I just didn't like the story, but I thought it was a well-made movie. But I thought that they were a little bit, it seems really soon for them to become Criterion Edition, and B, they feel like a little bit like too buzzy to be Criterion movies. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy.
No, I feel like, and I don't think that this is true, but when I think of Criterion, I think of like, you know, movies that have been out of print, but they're such a cult classic.
Right.
And movies that, you know, will do whatever anniversary screening of.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
The movie's been out like 10 years.
10 years.
It originally like maybe didn't do well at the box office, but has like been reassessed. They recently, I would want this, but I don't have the disposable income. They've re-released all of Wes Anderson's movies into like a box set. And then it's like, you know, it has all the Wes Anderson typeface, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. But like, that's an example and lots of foreign film, like, and like old classics. That's kind of what they're known for. So I was really I thought, K-pop Demon Hunter, I guess they've done Studio Ghibli, but maybe even not. Like, I'm not really familiar with children's movies that are considered Criterion. And Frankenstein, to me, just frankly, like, I'm like, oh, I don't think it was, like you're saying, I don't think in 10 years Frankenstein is going to be a movie that we're talking about, which maybe is controversial.
No, I think that it just kind of got lost in everything else that was not like an adaptation or a remake. I mean, that's what I also really enjoyed it, but I'm like, okay, well, it's an adaptation. Doesn't stick.
I just think it's a little bit too soon to what's the word? Like, to know what its cultural staying power will be. So, which reminds me, like, Justin, I still want to know what your ultimate review is, and we'll get there. But this talk about, like, staying power and, you know, awards don't really mean much because yada, yada, yada. I think you'll like this little tidbit. I don't know if you saw this headline. So you mentioned the BAFTAs earlier, which is the British, do you know what that BAFTA stands for? It's British Film. And essentially it's like the British Film Awards. It happened, I think, just this past weekend. There was some controversy. I'm not going to mention it on the show because I actually think the controversy is not warranted. Anyways, so go, if you want to know about the controversy over the weekend, you can easily find those headlines. But we're going to talk about Marty Supreme. I believe they were nominated for 6 awards.
I think it was like 16.
Okay. Okay. Let me see if I can find. Okay. Josh Safdie's sport dramedy, Marty Supreme, left this year's BAFTA ceremony with an unwelcome distinction, tying the record for most losses in a single night after going 0 for 11. So 11 nominations, 0 wins. Which I think is just, I know how you feel. You think this movie is like terribly overhyped and that little Timmy is being a little bit of a try-hard trying to get his Oscar. So I thought that you would enjoy that headline.
Oh, I've already been reveling in it. I don't want to like wish anybody in the film industry ill because
you care about movies.
Right, but that movie I don't think should be getting as much praise as some other movies should. Right.
So that's interesting. Considering that it didn't win any awards, I'm really interested to see how it performs at the Academy Awards at the Oscars. And I thought about watching it this weekend, but then I saw how long it was, and I was like,
oh, it's so long.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna. So I kind of still want to see it, but I really trust your you know what I like, and you're like, it's not worth it. And so even though I still am curious about it, I'm going to trust you on this one. I will, if I see it, it'll be probably like the last movie I see before the Oscars. Okay, so that was a very long, meandering way, kind of catching up on some Oscar talk. Please tell me what your ultimate review of If I'd Like Sidekick You would be. Is it a see it, a skip it, a stream it?
If you can see it in a theater, see it. But if you can't, stream it. Oh, sorry. I feel like I misunderstand this. See it is the best. See it.
Yes.
I'm going to say see it.
Yeah. So even though it's like not in theaters, if you had the chance, it's essentially the see it rating is like, you need to run out and go see this. Like, this movie is great. And then a stream it is like, oh, you could wait. It's okay.
No, this is, keeping in mind that it deals with some dark things.
Sure.
Not just parenthood. And in fact, well, I'm not going to speak on that. I just keep in mind, it's a dark comedy. So, go into it with that mindset. You might see some things that you're upset with.
Dark things are going to happen. And also, it sounds like some medical stuff. Is that part of the dark stuff?
There's some medical stuff. There's also, my favorite part was like an oopsie, like, and it involves an animal. And listen, I don't like seeing anything bad happen to animals, but this was so funny, just how it kind of played out.
So maybe some mild violence against animals is what you're saying.
Not intentional.
Right, okay. I know, like, again, people are going to shut off this podcast and be like, Taylor and Nicole are insane. But we do not condone animal violence in any shape or form. Unless it's in no, I'm not even going to make that joke. Anyways, moving on. Moving on. My whole life is a black comedy. Don't you feel that way?
100%.
Yeah. It's fine. It's all part of the human experience. If you can't, like, everything at you, there's this quote, and it's like from a religious sister, and she's like, everything in life you can laugh at except for sin. And that's pretty much my motto. Like, it's all up for grabs. You got to maintain a sense of humor. Anyways, okay, now I'm gonna, like I mentioned, I also am reviewing a black comedy. So, like, we didn't do this on purpose, but our two movies probably pair really well for weirdos. Okay, so
yeah.
So Begonias by Yorgos Lanthimos, who is one of these. Actually, Katie and I talked about it last week when we were watching Wuthering Heights, because she said that she felt Wuthering Heights was really inspired by Yorgos and by the director of The Witch and also Baz Luhrmann. She felt like that movie was like a convergence of the three directors, which I don't really disagree with that. I think that was an apt summary of that movie. So I really like Yorgos. I mentioned Lobsters earlier. I haven't seen all of his movies. In particular, I have not got dipped into his older movies because he did Dogtooth, which I think is enjoying a anniversary this year, quite possibly. So I haven't seen Dogtooth, but I've seen, I started watching him when he kind of broke into what I would call the English market, because his early movies are in Greek. He's a Greek filmmaker. So, The Lobster, Killing of a Sacred Deer, The Favorite. I love all three of those movies. I did not see the movie that's in between this movie and I believe it was The Favorite. I didn't see the one that was like an anthology. Do you remember the name of that one?
Yeah, there was Poor Things that came after The Favorite, and then there was very soon after that Kinds of Kindness.
Right, I hated Poor Things.
You hated it?
Yeah, I hated it. I did not. Clearly, I erased it from my memory.
Yeah, clearly. It is very much like the most pedestrian of his, in terms of content of his work. And like it's not very absurd.
Kind of like most commercial of all of them, I would say. I mean, like, stylistically, I don't think it was, like, like, an accessible movie. Because, like, it is kind of, like, there's, like, surrealist sets and the costuming and stuff. But, like, in terms of the storyline, it's, like, the most linear and, like, least open to, like, mystery. But anyways, I didn't find a lot of redeeming qualities in terms of the plot of that one. But anyways, and then I'm not, like, a huge fan of anthology movies, or, like I don't even know if you could describe it as an anthology, because Kinds of Kindness is, like, multiple stories in one movie, correct?
It's described as a black comedy drama anthology film.
Okay, yeah, anthologies are not really my bag. Did you see it? Did you like it?
I didn't see it, but it's on streaming, and I kept being like,
I'll catch up. Yeah. I get that. I think it's on Netflix. Anyways, maybe I'll eventually work my way back. I was a little bit hesitant to watch Begonia, only because I really hated Poor Things, and I didn't see the next one that he made. So I was kind of, like, on the fence. But it has been nominated for 4 Oscars, and it is quite buzzy, because they've been nominated for a ton of stuff. Largely nominations and not a lot of wins. But in terms of the Oscars, it's being nominated for Best Picture, Best Actress, Best Adapted Screenplay, and Best Original Score. This is a remake, or an adaptation, I guess you could say, of, I believe, a South Korean movie. Mm-hmm. And which I didn't know until after I saw this movie. Oh, yeah, it's an English language remake of the 2003 South Korean film Save the Green Planet by Jang Joon-hwan. Sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly. So, you've seen this movie, Nicole. We texted afterwards. I guess I'll before we kind of get into it, I'll just very briefly summarize what's happening. I don't have the IMDb summary. What I do is I go to Wikipedia. Normally I read the plot synopsis from Wikipedia. So that's our own unique take here on You Had Me at Skip It. So essentially this movie, so again, it is a black comedy. It stars Jesse Plemons.
Yeah.
Jesse Plemons. And him and his cousin, who is an actor that I am not familiar with, Aidan Delbus. He plays it's his feature film debut. That's why I've never seen it before. So they're cousins, and Jesse Plemons' character is, very quickly, we find out that he is essentially a conspiracy theorist. Like, he believes that the world is, governed by aliens, and he very quickly in the movie kidnaps the CEO of a company, which he believes the CEO is an alien, like a high-ranking alien. And that alien, or the CEO, who may or may not be an alien, is Emma Stone. And that's the setup for the movie. Would you agree, Nicole?
I would agree. I think that's perfect.
Yeah. So and essentially, it doesn't really matter, like, in my opinion, it doesn't really matter what the conspiracy is, like, what his thought process is, because there is, like, he thinks he's going to save the world, and he's essentially holding Emma Stone's character captive in order for her to agree to do something. And I've kind of lost the plot in some of that. Like, I don't remember all those details very well. But really, I don't think those things are, like, as important, those plot details, for the review. So I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was.
You would.
Yeah. I thought it was. I wouldn't describe this as a lot of fun, because this movie is also stressful, because you're dealing with Jesse Plemons' character feels, even though he's earnest, he feels quite dangerous, and you don't know how reliable of a narrator, so to speak. Like, he's not the narrator of the movie, but, like, you don't know if he's sane, delusional, what. And then, like, poor Dawn, his cousin, who's, like, so wonderful, and, like, they have, like, a lot of chemistry on screen, the two of them, and, like, you feel for, like, I felt more for the safety of Dawn than I did for Emma Stone's character, because very early on I felt like I knew what Yorgos was doing with her character.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't surprised by the ending. But to me, it wasn't a bad thing. Like, it wasn't like, oh, like, there wasn't mystery in this movie. I don't think this movie is supposed to be a mystery.
Yeah. I agree.
And there's, like, some really funny moments. Again, our sense of humor, Nicole. But I thought the scenes with the police officer were quite funny, even though they were dealing with, like, pretty dark subject matter. Yes. Or it's, like, alluded to some dark subject matter.
And I also feel like do you ever notice that Yorgos Lanthimos has an obsession with spaghetti dinners? Have you ever noticed this?
Are they always having spaghetti?
Like, I remember Barry Keoghan in
Oh yes,
Killing of a Sacred Deer.
He's like shoveling it in.
Yeah. Yes, you remember? And it's like a big thing. He's eating spaghetti, and they continue to eat spaghetti in this movie. Now, I don't know if that's related, but I just think that that's what Yorgos Lanthimos thinks is American culture.
I was just gonna say that's what he thinks an American meal is, spaghetti, because that's like he's making this like fancy dinner for what he thinks is alien royalty. So he pulls out all the stops with the spaghetti dinner. Yeah. That's a funny thought. I didn't think about that, but you're right. Spaghetti does feature. Now I want to go back and see if like The Lobster has a big spaghetti scene.
Oh, I bet it does. Because they eat a lot in that movie.
Yeah. Interesting. So what are your thoughts? Like I said, I enjoyed this movie. I think the acting was very good in this movie. And in fact, I know we talked about it today, how the Oscars aren't really real and they don't really mean anything. But, and that's part of the fun of like thinking who's snubbed, right? Like, even though we're not surprised when people are snubbed, but like, I think Jesse Plemons deserved an Oscar nomination for this performance.
Oh, that was like as somebody who is no longer really on the internet, save for Reddit, like that made it over to Reddit that, even Kirsten Dunst, rather, she reposted some kind of a meme about Jesse Plemons being snubbed for the Oscars. Like, so it's very well known. And then there was this really funny interview with Jenny Slate where the legal trouble with It Ends With Us.
Yes.
And she's being asked about that, and it's very, very awkward. She's like, I'm not focused on that. I'm actually like really focused on, I'm very much summing it up, but she's like, I love movies, and I really loved Begonia. Like, I hope Jesse Plemons gets an Oscar. And then the interviewer's like, actually, he got snubbed because the nominations came out that day. And it was just so funny. Like, she's trying to change the subject to something
happy.
Else, and, just her face is like, oh my gosh.
She can't get a win. She can't get a win.
Yeah. So you kind of clocked the ending right off the top?
I think knowing how Yorgos it leans into the absurd and in some ways like the surreal, I like knew from the beginning. I'm like, I know that this is going to be, I don't want to ruin the ending for other people who maybe aren't as, like if people aren't familiar with his body of work, or if maybe you're the type of person where like you watch a plot and you're like not very good at guessing the ending. Cause like I'll admit like there are like a mystery movie. It's very rarely that I'm able to predict the killer, but like, I don't want to, if you're the type of person who goes in blind with movies and kind of is along for the ride, I don't want to ruin the ending for them. But I felt like, I'm like, well, this is either going to go one of two ways, and I think it's going to go the second way, and I was right. And it was more like watching the movie, like, how are we going to get to that?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, because there was so much tension in the what is going on. I just mean like in the is he right or is he wrong?
Yes.
Basically. There's so much, they did such a good job of that back and forth. Like I did find myself, I knew what was going to happen. Like in my heart, I knew, but as the movie was going on, I was like, oh, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not.
He does leave just enough, there's just enough rope in this movie that it can't go either way until the very end. You know what I mean? And even though I was like, oh, I think this is how it's going to end. It's still, and also there's the question of her complacency. Like, is Emma Stone's character, so, you know, essentially you're trying to figure out, is Jesse Plemons' character bad, quote unquote, because like we're trained in the current discourse that like if you're a conspiracy theorist, like you're the baddie, right? Yeah. But then we're also trained in the current discourse that if you're a pharmaceutical CEO, that you're the baddie, right? So like we're kind of like, so the tension in this movie is like trying to figure out like who is at fault with what's going on. And so there was a little bit of a plot twist for me, like near the end of the movie. Like essentially when she like does the big confession to him, you don't know if she's telling the truth until the very end of the movie.
Yeah.
And it's like a pretty, this movie I would say is a little bit, maybe not even a little bit, like a lot nihilist.
Oh, yeah. Are you kidding? Yeah, and like misanthropic and
like
just
pretty bleak. It's a bleak ending.
But it's so funny that you say that because I thought it was so beautiful. I was like, oh, I can only hope. Like, I don't mean it in like the definitive way things happened. I just mean in like the grace with which it happened. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like how the
It's so funny. How are we going to talk about
yeah,
this?
like how do you do it without giving it away? But essentially like the clean slate, I guess you could say, you found like very peaceful and like beautiful.
Yeah, I was like, oh wow. And then the very very end scenes where they're just panning around, I was like, wow, that is so much more beautiful than I was expecting. It was kind of interesting. Like, it's definitely bleak for sure, but also ends really beautifully. But I'd be curious to hear what everybody else who listens thinks on if they've seen this movie, if they think it's kind of hopeful at the end, or if it's very, very sad and upsetting.
It depends on, I guess, your worldview and like how your stance on humanity. But I guess like to me it wasn't inherently hopeful. That's how I would summarize the ending. Like, it's a pretty bleak picture of us as humans. And if like that's and if that's what we need to do to course correct, that's pretty sad, I guess, is my final take on that ending.
Yes. I see why. I see why you would think that. And I think that honestly, like, if you are a well person, maybe that's how you would see it, I think.
I will, like I said, there was a couple plot twists that I didn't see coming. One of them being Jesse Plemons' character in the basement. I'm like, wow, that took a darker turn than I thought. Even though there are hints to it, like definitely like you see that scene and you're like, yep, okay, I should have seen that coming. But like his character is likable, and 100%. Like he's likable and he's like very sympathetic. So I'm like, they're not gonna do what they're gonna, and then they did it, and I was like, oh, okay, darker than I thought we were gonna go, but all right. So that was when actually there's 3, and then with Dawn, I didn't see that coming, and that
that was
very sad. So it's a bit of this is a bit of a roller coaster of a movie. It's funny in the way that Black comedies are funny. Like, this movie, I wouldn't say like I laughed out loud, but I'm like, that's a funny, absurd scene. And to me, this is very much like a Yorgos Lanthimos movie. And so, like, if you don't... Again, like, you're like, with your review of If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, was like, everyone should see it. For me, I'm a little bit more reserved when recommending Black comedies, because I feel like there's such a specific genre, and they are not for necessarily, like, casual moviegoers. And that, like, I don't mean that in a derogatory or, like, rude way, because I think if you only go to the movies, like... If you only watch less than 6 movies a year, this shouldn't be one of them. If that's, like, the type of moviegoer you are. Does that make sense? Like, go see a blockbuster. There's nothing wrong with it. Like, go buy some popcorn. Go sit in the theater. If you only watch a couple movies a year and you're just looking to, like, have a good time.
This is not that.
This is not that. Like, I had a lot of fun watching this movie, and I thought it was funny in places, and it gave me a lot to think about. But this movie is quite violent.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. It's funny that you bring this up. Like, if you're hesitant to recommend certain things. Every time I recommend a friend of mine something, and I'm very passionate about it, she will start to... I remember I recommended her a Hannah Gadsby... do you remember that Hannah Gadsby comedy special on Netflix? Anyway, I
can't say I've seen it.
It was a big deal when it came out, and I remember just telling my friend, like, you have to see it. It's so funny. And then she texted me, she's like, why would you recommend that to me? It's so upsetting. I have not cried this much in so long. So truly, like, really be careful. You're right. And I've done it multiple times since to her.
No, she's not watching anything you're recommending now.
No, but she does watch it, and then she gets upset.
Oh.
And now she's learning, you know what? It's obviously it's my fault. Like, I should not be recommending her any of these things.
Well, you know what? What's the saying? Like, once burned, shame on you. Twice burned, shame on me. Like, after the third time, she should have been like, yeah, Nicole's recommendations are not for me.
Yeah. She was like, oh, I hate violence. And I was like, you should watch Sinners, though. It's so good. And then she was like, really? I was like, it's a period piece. It's about racism. It's so good. And then she's like, I told you I didn't like violence, and it's so bloody. Anyway.
So again, the older I get, like, the more warnings I give with my movie recommendations, just because, like, I know that, like, what I like is, like, so particular to my own tastes and, like, my own, like, what it is I'm interested in. And, like, you know, maybe it comes with, like, I don't want to say immaturity, because, like, you are a mature person, so I don't know why you're recommending these unhinged things to your friends.
Well, it comes with a caveat. It's always like, maybe not to that one friend, but I'm always like, yeah, like, if you are XYZ, like, if you've ever fantasized about throwing yourself out of a sliding door, yes, you will love this movie, but if you haven't, maybe this is not for you.
Right. That's like, yeah, that's, I am, the older I get, the more cautious I am when recommending things. Because I also appreciate that, like, people have really limited time and resourcing. And so, like, I don't want to recommend a movie to someone who, like, again, they only see, you know, less than 6 movies a year. And they're like, watch Begonia. And they're like, I just want to watch a Marvel movie. And that's okay. Yeah. Like, that is definitely okay. And so, all that to say, to me, this is a see it. It is talk about an unhinged review. It is a see it because this is one of the more Yorgos Lanthimos is one of those directors that, like, even if you don't, like, for instance, I didn't like Poor Things, but I respect that he has a very singular vision when it comes to making movies. Like, he has a very developed cinematic voice, and he commits to what he's trying to achieve, which is what I feel about Emerald Fennel. And, like, there was a lot of discourse with The Wuthering Heights, but to me, Yorgos Lanthimos, the guy who did The Witch, who I love, who I always forget his name, Edgar's, even if you don't like the movie or the story they're telling, I feel like you need to respect the fact that, like, they know what they want to do. And in my opinion, they are able to consistently execute that. And so for me, that was Begonia. Like, I thought it was even though it is a remake of a 2003 movie, it felt unique and refreshing in, like, the sea of remakes and reboots or whatever. I thought it was very well acted and well directed. And yeah, it's a see it for me. But again, it's violent. It's pretty dark. It has a pretty depressing, in some ways, ending. And yeah, poor Dawn. No justice for Dawn in this movie.
I think we can all agree that Dawn is the real victim here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
poor Dawn.
sad. And we're coming to the end of this episode, but I just gotta, how interesting that Alicia Silverstone is just kind of, makes a cameo. I haven't seen her in a while.
She did a terrible Christmas movie this past year that we watched, and we're like, why are we doing this? But I did think it was, like, actually perfect for what her character was supposed to be achieving. You know what I mean? Like, she was the perfect granola person to do that.
Oh, like, in terms of, like, her... Because that's, like, when you're dealing with a director like this, like, no, there are no accidents. Yeah. So, like, I'm like, why did he cast Alicia Silverstone? But, like...
She was also in The Killing of a Sacred Deer. Sorry, I just totally...
Really?
Yeah, she plays... I think she plays Barry Keoghan's...
Mom?
Mom, yeah.
So what's going on here? What's the connection? Why? Just because she's not, like, acting a lot now? And, like, why would a Greek director... I don't know, like, it's like how, like... Who did that movie about the atomic bomb? Was that a Christopher Nolan movie?
Yeah.
So, like, people say the same thing about, like, Christopher Nolan. Like, you're not going to get cast in a Christopher Nolan movie, like, by accident. You know what I mean? Like, it's, like, part of his, like, grander scheme. So what's going on? I'm not saying she's a bad actress or anything, but you think it's more, like, because of her actual, like, who she is as a person, you think?
That's what I literally just forgot that she was in Killing of a Sacred Deer, but for me, this role makes so much sense based on what we know about Alicia Silverstone and how she is outside of her career.
Right.
You know, like how she is personally.
Yeah. Okay. That's fascinating. Now I want to go back and watch Killing of a Sacred Deer to see what her character is like in that movie.
Same. Love that movie.
Yeah, I haven't rewatched it since seeing it in theaters. Because, again, he makes movies that, to me, are high stress, and they're really enjoyable as I'm watching them. But I also don't think I've ever rewatched The Lobster, even though I owned it on DVD. Because it's just one of those movies that I'm like, I don't know if I can revisit.
Yeah, totally.
Kind of stressful watching. Okay, so, and what's your take on Begonia? See it?
With all of the caveats that you have given, I'm agreeing completely with your review. If, like, know what it is going in, know that it's violent, know that it's depressing, I would say see it.
This was a bit of a bleak episode, only because dark comedies, they often are kind of bleak. But I think that's Black comedies, like, that's what they're capturing, the human condition, that, like, our lives are kind of sad and absurd, but, like, funny in that. Like, it's funny to be human. And, like, weird to be human. And, like, that's okay.
Yeah. And even, like, funny in, like, not a ha-ha way, but, you know, like, that feels funny. You know what I mean? That
for sure.
So,
laughing while someone's stabbing their eyes out. And you're like, that's not inherently, intrinsically funny. And yet, in the moment, it is.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you on that cheery note. Thank you so much, Nicole, for coming on once again. I think you're going to come back in a couple weeks. And yeah, I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to review, but probably another Oscar one. Because I think when you come back on, it's the last week before the Oscars. So we'll do a little recap and remind everyone about the award show coming up. And we'll just talk some more movies. And until then, go see some movies.
All right, award seasons fan, the 2026 Oscars pool is now live through You Had Me at Skip It. You can go to solonearts.ca/podcasts. That's solonearts.ca/podcasts and fill out your ballot for a chance to win your own episode of You Had Me at Skip It. You have a chance to produce your own episode on a future show. So head to Soul One Arts website right now. Just go under projects, hit the podcast tab, and there you go. You have a form fillable that you can fill out and enter our Oscars pool. All we need is your name and an email, and you're off to the races. So get those entries in, and best of luck during award season. Thank you for listening to You Had Me at Skip It, a Soul One Arts Inc. podcast. This podcast is produced by Mike Shepard and Austin Spinner Summer. It is a project of Soul One Arts Inc. To learn more about Soul One and all the great work that Soul One is doing in the arts community, especially in film, theater, and other performing arts, visit solonearts.ca. You can contribute to this podcast by visiting solonearts.ca and going to the podcast tab. You'll find all the information on You Had Me at Skip It and how you can get your questions read on air each week. Thank you again for listening.